present with his attorneys, and the prosecutors are present as well. We are outside the presence of the jury. Ms. Higgs, how would you like to proceed?
Your Honor, we have a number of witnesses that won't be able to come back due to work travel and other obligations next week, but we have a number that are, so we are asking to proceed via video testimony with regard to those witnesses.
And that's pursuant to Rule 15 of the Colorado Rules of Criminal Procedure.
That's correct, Your Honor.
And the rule requires, I think, that a subpoena, that the court direct the party seeking videotaped testimony to issue a subpoena. I'm assuming these folks are under subpoena.
When they're all also present.
Okay. All right. Do the people have any objection to proceeding in this fashion?
No, we don't, Your Honor.
Okay. And of course, everyone understands that the jury will not be able to submit questions to these witnesses, but without objection, we will proceed as requested by the defense. How many witnesses do you have, Ms. Higgs, that you would like to have provide videotape testimony today?
7.
7? Okay.
Or some of them are currently just making their way to the courthouse. We do have one person that's present currently.
Okay, do you want to start with that? We can start with that person if you're ready. Ms. Brady?
It'll be Scott Zoldi.
Okay, all right. And so do you want to turn on the video camera and then have you, and then call that witness? So there's a full recording of it?
Great.
Videotaper went to go get our witness.
Okay.
So.
Any information on the exhibits D-TR 234 and 236?
Your Honor, I haven't had time to check.
Okay.
While we're waiting, Your Honor, if
Yeah.
I may. Some CDs that I would like to have as court exhibits. It's CTR 103, 104, 105, 106. CTR 103 was the first version of the guilt phase people's PowerPoint. 104 is the final version, and then 105 is the first version of the Phase 1 PowerPoint, and then 106 is the final version.
Okay, thank you.
And we've given copies of these discs to defense counsel.
All right, thanks. And Ms. Higgs, just for your information, exhibits D-TR 234 and 236 were admitted through Sandra Becker, who apparently lived in the same neighborhood as your client when he was in second grade. And I believe the two exhibits are 2 photographs. Ms. Nelson, are you anticipating submitting your tender instructions for Phase 2 before the weekend?
Yes, Your Honor, I was actually going to bring that up with you. It was my intention, I stayed up late last night trying to get them together to file by the end of the day today, and I think I'll be able to do that, especially given the events this morning, so.
Thank you. I appreciate you doing that. That's very helpful. Okay. Ms. Brady, call your next witness, please.
Your Honor, the defense calls Scott Zoldi.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. Could I have you raise your right hand for me so that I can administer an oath? Do you solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of law that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please be seated. Could you please tell us your full name and spell your first, middle, and last names?
My name is Scott Michael Zoldi. That's Scott, S-C-O-T-T, Michael, M-I-C-H-A-E-L, Zoldi, Z-O-L-D-I.
Ms. Brady, you may proceed.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you please tell us how you're employed?
I'm a Vice President of Analytics Science at a company called FICO. We develop fraud analytic models that basically detect credit card fraud.
Credit card fraud?
Correct.
And what state do you work in?
California.
All right. Have you had the opportunity to know a man by the name of Robert Holmes?
I have, yes.
Can you please let us know how you know him?
Bob and I both worked first at HNC Software, which was later acquired by FICO in I think it was the year 2000 or 2001 up through the year 2013.
Okay. If you wouldn't mind, would you pull that microphone can come right up to your mouth there.
Okay.
Great. Thank you. All right. So you worked with Mr. Holmes I'm sorry, for approximately how many years?
About 12 years.
12 years, right? Did you ever have an opportunity to meet Mr. Holmes's family?
I did.
Can you tell us the circumstance where you met his family?
So I had my teams over to my house one or two times for like a team picnic where team members would come and they'd come to the house. I was also at their residence for a dinner with my family and their family.
In approximately what years would that have been?
The dinner was probably around 2004.
Right? And what about the picnic?
Picnics were probably around the same time periods, maybe one prior to 2004 and then one a year or two later.
Okay. Did you have an opportunity to meet James Holmes?
I have, yes.
And do you recognize him here in the courtroom?
I do.
Can you tell us your observations of James Holmes?
When I met with the family for dinner, for example, James got along very well with his mother and father. We had a great dinner together. He seemed very friendly and joked around with his dad in particular. My other observation, a little bit awkward potentially, like most boys of his age, and he was a teenager then. But other than that, appeared very normal to me.
Okay. Nothing unusual between him and the other members of his family?
Not that I observed.
Okay. Now, in the time that you knew the Holmes family, did Bob Holmes ever express concern about his son?
Objection, Your Honor.
What's the objection?
Hearsay.
Can we approach?
Yes. Okay, the objection is sustained on hearsay grounds.
Mr. Zoldi, did you get the impression that Bob Holmes, in the early part of the year 2012, was he concerned about his son?
Objection, Your Honor, calls for hearsay response.
I don't think it does, Your Honor.
If you can answer the question based on observations without relying on anything that Bob Holmes said to you, then you may answer the question. If you have to rely on something that Bob Holmes said to you, then you cannot answer the question because that would be hearsay.
Okay. In around the year 2012, Bob needed to take time off from work. He was concerned. He needed to come to Denver, and he needed to visit his son because they had lost contact with Jimmy.
In the early part of 2012?
Correct.
And you gave him that time off in order to do that?
Yes, at least one or two times I did that.
Any time that you had contact with James Holmes, did you ever see him be mean or disrespectful to anyone?
I have not, no.
Would you consider him a quiet person?
Yes, quiet and, as I said before, a bit awkward in the interactions, but I found him to have a good sense of humor and interacted well with people.
Okay. Thank you. I don't have any further questions.
Is there any cross-examination, Ms. Tish McGuire?
Good afternoon, Mr. Zoldi.
Hello.
It's actually morning.
Oh, good morning. I apologize. Do you recall if the defendant's father actually came to Denver to see the defendant?
I believe he did, right? Because he took the time off and went to Denver. That's what I was told.
That's what you were told, but you don't know that he actually came to Denver. Is that true? That's outside your knowledge.
I never saw a plane ticket. It was his personal trip.
And the last time that you were able to observe the defendant was probably approximately 9 years ago?
Roughly. Yeah, in his high school years, yes.
And do you know when in 2012 the defendant's father took time off from work?
I don't know the exact time. I believe it was in the summer.
No further questions. Thank you, Your Honor.
Is there any redirect? May this witness be released from his subpoena, Ms. Brady?
You may.
Any objection?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, sir, thank you.
Thank you.
Call your next witness, please.
Defense calls Martin Barrett.
Your Honor, we're going to change that. We're going to call Ina Mastson, please.
Okay? Good morning. That's all right.
You hurt my knee.
Could I have you raise your right hand, please, so that I can administer an oath? Do you solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of law that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please be seated. Could you please tell us your full name for the record and spell your first, middle, and last names?
Ina Piri Maston. Sorry. Ina Pirie Masten.
Ms. Hicks, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Ms. Maston.
Good morning.
Can you tell us where you live?
I live in Rancho Penasquitos, which is a suburb of San Diego County.
Okay. What do you do for a living there?
I'm an accountant.
And where do you work?
I work part-time at the church. I have clients that I service.
What church are you referring to?
Penasquitos Lutheran Church.
How long have you been working at Penasquitos Lutheran?
A little over 3 years.
Prior to working there, did you also attend that church for many years?
I did for over 20 years.
And you continue to attend it while you're working there?
I do.
All right. Do you know a family, the Holmes family?
I do. I know Arlene and Bob Holmes.
Okay. You've also met on a couple of occasions James Holmes, is that right?
I have.
I would like to ask you how it is that you came to meet Arlene Holmes.
Arlene and I met through church, through several events that we had there, and then we both joined a book club that meets every 2 months. And additionally, about 4 years ago, we carpooled off and on for about 3 years to work and back.
When was it that you first met her?
About 10 years ago.
Okay. And that was, at that time when you first met her, it's my understanding that she was attending the church as well as her 2 children. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they both were.
And are you aware that James, and just so we're clear, I see you looking here at council table at him. This is James Holmes that you knew?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Are you aware that he was confirmed through that church?
I don't believe he actually was.
Okay.
I think I thought that he was, but he really wasn't.
Okay. Do you recall him attending church much in his sort of later teenage years?
Not really. I mean, off and on.
Yeah.
You know, I might see him and his sister around, but
More.
Arlene all the time and Bob, more
Okay.
so in the last few years.
When you were carpooling with Arlene and going to book club with Arlene, can you describe what your impression was of her with regard to her family and her children?
You know, we would just talk about everyday things and everyday life, and part of that, you know, includes your family, and it was pretty much pretty normal, you know, just kids growing up and exploring life and going off to college or, you know, pursuing other things in their life. So nothing out of the ordinary, you know, the thing that my other friends weren't experiencing with their children at that time in their life.
Mm-hmm. Did she appear to you to be to show appropriate concern and love for her family?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. They both were very involved in their kids' lives, and definitely, yeah.
Okay. When you say they both were very involved, do you mean both Bob and Arlene?
Yeah, both Bob and Arlene, and you know, they would go the extra mile for some things. Like, for example, one is that Arlene's daughter wanted to try out for American Idol, and so she took a whole weekend off and drove up to Pasadena and spent time with her daughter doing all of that. That, you know, that was a big commitment, I think, as a parent.
Okay. You also, I understand, you have every year open house Christmas parties at your home.
I do.
Did the Holmes family ever attend those parties?
Yeah, Bob and Arlene come on a regular basis, and from time to time, you know, one or both of the children would come.
Okay. And when the children would attend that, was that a number of years ago?
Well, yes, it was a number of years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did James ever come with his parents to your?
Oh, yeah, I do recall him coming at least once, if not twice. Yeah.
Okay. What was your impression of him when he attended those open house parties?
You know, a shy, reserved young man, but not uncomfortable in a social setting.
Okay. Do you recall what years it was would that have been before he went off to college when he was
Yeah,
still?
definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he would kind of stick around with his parents the whole time, is that reasonable to say?
I'd say a lot of the time, but not all of the time, because we have like food everywhere inside and outside of the house, and so people mill around. It's truly an open house. So, he would wander around a little bit and gather food and all that. So, I didn't notice that he was stuck next to them the entire time.
Okay. Just a minute, and I'll be right back with you. Have you continued to be friends with the Holmes family,
Absolutely.
even to this day?
Yes, even to the day.
Okay. And is it important for you to be here to support the entire Holmes family today?
Absolutely, yeah. We wanted to make sure everybody understood how much we support the family as individuals and as a community.
Okay.
It's very important.
And that includes James, is that right?
Absolutely includes James, yeah.
Thank you.
Is there any cross-examination?
I don't have any questions for this witness, Your Honor.
All right, may this witness be released from her subpoena?
Yes, she may, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Ma'am, thank you.
Thank you.
For your next witness, please, Ms. Brady.
Your Honor, if we could take a few moments for the next witness to be here.
Yes.
Thank you. Your Honor, the next couple witnesses are making their way into the courthouse, so if we maybe could take just a short break until they get here.
Sure.
Thank you.
You bet. How long? 10, 15 minutes? 15 minutes? 15 minutes. Okay, great, you bet. We'll be on break. The court will be in recess. Thank you.